The Democrats hate the Constitution, but they found a love for the 14th Amendment, okay? They love this idea that Section 3 is self-enforcing and they can wag their fingers and go, you're an insurrectionist to Donald Trump and say, now you're not on the ballot. They love this idea. Now, they don't love Section 5 so much, but they do love Section 3. Now, they want to use Section 1 of the 14th Amendment like a suicide note, and it goes like this. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction equal protection of the laws. Now, funny, they have no problem with passing laws that infringe on the Second Amendment and all that. But what's happening right now is the Democrats are keeping the border open, knowing at minimum there's about 14 to 15 months before there can be any changes to border policy. Think of all the illegals that have come, and think of all the illegals that are going to give birth on this side of the border between now and then. Seems like the only part of the Constitution that they like is that portion of the 14th Amendment. And if you believe there should be any restrictions on immigration at all, you're a Nazi. Here's Trump speaking at a rally.
You have the highest number of illegal border crossings in the history of our country, by far the highest number of illegal visa overstays, and by far a new record being set every single week on drugs and every other lousy thing that's coming into our country. But as soon as we win the election, the momentum of our great victory will immediately begin stopping the hordes of illegal alien migrants who are charging across our border by the hundreds of thousands. Just like 3 years ago, the invasion will end.
Just so you know, the more the border stays open, the further down in the polls Joe Biden goes with Hispanic voters. This is about national security. We're not even talking about legal immigration. What is taking place at the border is absolute chaos. It's not immigration. And the fact is, the system is not broken. The United States does not owe it to any human being around the world to add resources or reform the system or create amnesty because more people want to come here than the system can handle at any given time. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre.
And what we're seeing here at the border, the migration flow, increased migration flow, certainly it ebbs and flows. And we're at a time of the year where we're seeing more at the border. And it's not unusual. This is an immigration system that has been broken for decades. And the president has taken this very seriously to try to do more.
The left has a fantasy that they could bring down the nation as we know it and rebuild it again if they could just bring in millions upon millions of people who will vote their way. And they've tried everything. Trump's a fascist. Now it's Trump is Hitler. Here's Jake Tapper.
And he uses the term poisoning the blood of our country, poisoning the blood of our country. If you were to open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. The Jew, Hitler wrote, quote, poisons the blood of others. This, according to Hitler, posed an existential threat to Germany because, quote, all great cultures of the past perished only because the originally creative race died out from blood poisoning, unquote. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
Okay, Jake. Adolf Hitler was an unmarried vegetarian artist who started an automobile company. You sure you want to go down this road? Do you know the Nazis were environmentalists? There have been books written about this. You can take a look. There are many, many books written about this. There you go. Nazi ecology. Here's a good quote from NPR headline, the far right and environmentalism, the overlap is bigger than you think and growing, quote. The truth is, eco-fascism has a long history both in the U.S. and in Europe. Blair Taylor is a researcher at the Institute for Social Ecology And he said, even the Nazis saw themselves as environmentalists. Taylor was kind of horrified to learn that in some ways, the environmental movement was founded on the ideas of white supremacy. Adolf Hitler founded an automobile company. Maybe you've seen one of these on the road before. Take a look. That's right. Volkswagen. The people's car. Volkswagen. So anyone out there driving a Volkswagen who isn't eating meat, who's an unmarried man, who's a vegetarian and an artist, is just like Hitler. Right, Jake? 2 words, blood and poisoning, makes Donald Trump Hitler. You left out all his other attributes, or whatever you want to call them. The Nazis, by the way, wanted the government to control healthcare, education, transportation, housing, you name it. What political party in this country wants to control healthcare, education, transportation, and housing? That's right, the Democratic Party. Does that make them the Nazi Party? At the border right now, we have people flowing in without anything to stop them. And any person, any family who's been in this country 9 months will be encouraged to have a baby because they'll be told that if you have a child on American soil, thanks to Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, your entire family gets citizenship. Now, this might sound cruel, but there is a way to deal with this. First of all, when you talk about subject to the jurisdiction thereof, these people are foreign nationals. That means they are subject to foreign jurisdictions. If they are not in the country legally, any child they have in this country should not be seen as an American citizen. Because then again, what if they want to go home? Does the United States get to say, well, that's a citizen, that citizen stays, and you got to go? Of course not. When people come here to visit with a visa or temporary work or as students, if they have children in the United States and they return to their home country, we do not consider those children citizens. They are foreigners, okay? They are foreigners. But when you think about what we're doing right now, for example, here in New York City, we have been putting migrants in hotel rooms for the better part of a year. So somebody comes here from Central America, they make the arduous trek through Mexico, which is really on a bus. They land in Texas. Greg Abbott sends them to New York City, where they're given a $500 a night hotel room with swimming pools, 3 meals a day, mood lighting, it's baby making time. Do we really believe that all these unemployed people sitting in posh hotel rooms aren't having some mommy and daddy migrant time, right? Of course they are. And they're being told by all these NGOs and all these activist groups and all these left-wing lawyers that if they have a baby on this side of the border, that they are protected by Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. This is part of the problem. They know that they're creating a problem that the next administration will have to solve. For a Democrat, that just means more social welfare spending. What's the big deal? We'll just take money from the taxpayer. We'll buy these people a home. We'll give them free education, free health care, free food, free transportation, whatever it is. But if it is Donald Trump, there'll be endless litigation at the state level, at the federal level, and then there will also be, and we know this, weak-kneed Republicans who will not vote for any bill that says anyone who came into this country illegally is subject to the law and must be deported. We'll be told the economy needs them. They've been here. See, it's weird. You can't deport the people that have been here for years. You can't deport the people that just got here. You can't deport the people that had children or brought children or don't even have children. You can't deport the people who've been working illegally or not working at all. So in other words, you can't deport anyone. This is the plan going forward. The Democrats hate the Constitution, but they're going to use Section 1 of the 14th Amendment like a suicide note. Everything else about the Constitution they hate. This part they love.